What's poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and today I am here with actress, singer, and career coach Christine Horn, who has starred on some of our favorite television shows such as Snowfall, BMF, NCIS LA, The Good Doctor, Grey's Anatomy, Keenan, Blackish, The Fallout, and many more.
Yeah.
Christine, please say hi to the T Squad.
What's up, T Squad? I love it. Hey, y'all. Let's get into it. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure. I'm so excited about this because I'm fans of two of the shows that you have starred on that we'll talk about, Snowfall and BMF. So it's such a pleasure to be able to sit down and speak with you today.
Thank you. Yeah, let's get into it. I'm just so grateful to be on two shows, especially right now where the fans love it.
Yes.
The feedback has been so funny. The
I
internet
bet
has no
you have.
chill. I've heard it all at this point.
I know you have. Okay, well, I like to start off with asking for my guests to describe themselves in 5 words.
Okay. Driven, successful, grateful,
Mm.
joyful, tenacious.
Oh, I love that group of words. Yes, I love that. Especially grateful, especially grateful. What would you say would be your greatest strength and weakness?
I would say my greatest strength and weakness would be my ability to help people.
Mm.
Because sometimes I butt in and I'll be trying to help people who ain't asking for help.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say that.
Okay. And what would you say would be your greatest strength?
My greatest strength is my bounce back.
Yes, because you need that in the industry that you're in. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that muscle has definitely been strengthened over the years. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
And what would you say would be your greatest accomplishment?
My greatest accomplishment would be never giving up on my dreams. I've always wanted to be an actor and a performer since I was a child. Like when some kids were like, I want to be a teacher, I want to be an astronaut. I was like, singer, actor, dancer. Like that's what I want to do. Just knew it.
I
And it's not been an easy road. So the fact that I'm still here and I
mhm.
get to see my dreams be manifested and trust the gift and the vision that God gave me, even as a child, I'm most proud of that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. When I was a little girl, I just knew that people were supposed to know my name. I didn't know how, but I knew people were supposed to know my name. And so thankfully, God answered those prayers and people know my name.
In a good way. They know your name in a good way.
Yes, 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 yes. So I learned that you attended the Emmys for the first time this year. How was that experience?
Oh, it was wonderful. I'm a big student of law of attraction and manifestation. So I was like, well, I'm going to be at the Emmys soon anyway,
Mm-hmm.
nominated for something. So let me
Yes.
just and just do some recon and see what it's like behind the scenes. And that's what I did. So it was nice to dress up and see how it all worked when the cameras were off on commercial break and just to get a feel for it and the buzz of the energy of the day was really magical.
Wonderful. Was there anybody there that you wanted to meet that you got the chance to just say hello to or introduce yourself to?
I didn't get to meet and talk to a whole lot of people because of where I was seated. Unless you're a nominee, the nominees are on the floor.
Right.
Everyone else is in the balcony. So I did not, but it was just an honor and a really special moment to be in the room when Cheryl Lee Ralph won her Emmy for Abbott Elementary.
That speech was amazing.
Yeah. So to be there and experience that in real time was very special to me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us where you grew up.
I grew up in the Boogie Down Bronx, 233rd White
Okay.
Road. So my childhood was I loved my childhood in New York. And then in the 90s, my mom had my other two siblings like 14 years later and decided she wanted a better life for us. So
Okay.
she bought a house and moved us to Atlanta. And she makes sure I moved into the school district for one of the top performing arts high schools here, Tri-Cities High School. And that's
Wow.
when life changed. And I just delved deep into the magnet program we had here. I met my mentor, Freddie Hendricks, who then had a youth theater company. And I delved deep into that and began performing professionally around 16. So my life has always been surrounded by art. My mother was very encouraging. Put me, I was in tap, jazz, ballet by my choice. My
Right.
mother I had a gift and energy. And so I was just always surrounded by artistic things. And I always loved to write and sing and talk to myself and play. And so, yeah, living the life that I'm living now is no surprise to me because of that.
It's like I'm talking to myself, literally hearing you
Really?
speak. Yes, because I was literally the same kid, loving to sing, loving to act and dance and create. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be all of these things, an author, and all of these things growing up. And I've gotten to really do all of those things over my 41 years on this earth. So
That's
I
awesome.
really resonate with what you're saying. And it's so good to have a supportive parent who will
Yes.
allow you to go out there and, explore and to try things. So that is just so wonderful that you had a mom like that.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for her. And she and I are so close. Whenever I do interviews, I'm like, Ma, check this one out. So she gonna watch this one and be like, ooh, that was good too. I like that one too.
And I'm so loving, the picture back here, we all a part of the short hair crew.
Yes.
Yes. So I saw that in your bio, you went to high school with Kenan Thompson and that you recently got opportunity to guest star on his show, Kenan. How was that experience coming full circle?
Oh, it was so special because not only did I go to high school with Kenan, that same youth theater company with Freddie Hendricks, my mentor, he was in that as well. So we shared the stage together as teenagers.
Wow.
In between him shooting Mighty Ducks and all the things.
Yeah.
I auditioned just like every other actress, but I
Okay.
ended up booking it. And so when he walked on set, it was just, he was calling his mom on FaceTime because I'm close with his family. He's like, look, Mom, look who's here, So it was just, and they're like, can we get back to work? So it
That
was
is
just
so
very,
cool.
it was very special. I'm just so proud of him, his tenacity and everything that he's done in his career and the roads that he has paved for others coming behind him. I think is really special.
Yeah, because isn't he like the longest running cast member on
That's
SNL now?
mm-hmm.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
So, tell us what made you want to become an actress. Like, was there a specific moment where you was watching a television show or a movie or a play that was like, okay, I want to be this?
Yeah, I think I always knew, but there definitely have been moments where it just got confirmed even more.
Mm-hmm.
I would sit with my mom on a Friday night and we watch movies like Claudine and Cooley High and things like that. And it was so fun. But I remember my mother took me to see a play and I asked her the other day, I was like, where was that? Because I was a child. I didn't know if it was off Broadway. I didn't know where it was. And she told me it was in Harlem. And it was a show
Wow.
called Mama, I Want to Sing.
Oh,
And
wow.
and there
Yes.
was a little brown girl on that stage, and I remember seeing like, I can do that. I want to do what she's doing, and so that was definitely a pivotal moment in my life that I just really remembered. So funny you mentioned that because I was like, where was I? I need to know. Like, oh, we were in Harlem. My
That
mother's accent
is
is still
dope.
very big, so yeah, it was very special.
Wow. So, are there any actors or directors that you looked up to in the industry?
Oh man, so many, probably more than I can count, but a few that always have stuck out to me as I have been coming up: Cicely Tyson, Paul Winfield, of course, Denzel, Meryl Streep, Delroy Lindo, Alfre Woodard. I mean, the list goes on and on of it. Diane Carroll. Like
Yes.
when I have studied, I can't tell you how many times I've watched Claudine and James Earl Jones and just studied them as a kid, not even really understanding the full spectrum of the story at times, but just, people like Tracy Ullman and Carol Burnett, really and helped me lean into just creating different characters and improvising.
Mm-hmm.
Playing. So I just was always immersed and just would watch with such awe and just wonder as I would watch television. I don't think I watched TV like my friends did. They were like, whatever, Christine. And I'm like, no, you see the costumes and this.
Yes.
I remember, I will never forget, I had a best friend at the time. Her name was Masanji. I don't know where you are in the world, Masanji, but I remember she was a bookworm.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love watching Grease. And I would reenact Grease. And she was like, I don't get why people are sitting around talking and all of a sudden they're singing. It doesn't even make sense. And I remember thinking I don't know either, but I love it. And I want to do it when I grow up.
Oh my God. And what's crazy is I'm obsessed with Diane Carroll to the point where I'm about to get a piece of artwork of her in my home. I've read her biography. I've watched everything that has to do with her. She was just the epitome of just elegance and grace in her era. And it was just so shocking when I read her bio, how much she went through in her career. It was just, it was
I
astounding.
think the average person doesn't really realize how much artists go through. And I know the music industry is different than acting, but we sacrifice, we go through a lot, and you talk about in a time, where people were really paving the way and being the first to do things. It did not come easy. And though we have made lots of strides in this industry, it's still not easy. I never, even when I mentor actors, I don't lie and say, yeah, it's no problem. I say, you got to love it. You got to be passionate about it, because that's what's going to help you push through. And that's going to help you, stay up late. Like after we get done here, I have an audition. It's due at 9:00. I got to read the script. I got to tape it. Like, that's just what the life is, but I love it. So it's worth it to me.
Yeah, and people often just see the glitz and the glamour and the money and all of that. And even with myself, I'm a best-selling author. I don't know if they gave you any bio about who I am, but I'm an author. I've been a professional author now for almost 20 years going on, and I'm a filmmaker, and now I do YouTube and everything. And people are like, I want to be like you, or you inspire me. And I'm like, if you only knew the ups and downs that come along in this industry, oh my goodness, it is not meant for the weak and the weary. Like, you have to have strong will, determination, believing in God and believing in yourself, because you'll get so many no's and haters and things that'll just happen, and people stealing from you, and horrible management. Like, it's just so much that goes along with it that people don't notice or realize how hard it is to make it. Like, you have to be like, I'm gonna make it no matter what, if you really want to move forward.
And the truth is, a lot of people don't want to know. They don't want to hear that.
No, they don't.
They don't. No, forget that part. Just tell me the good stuff.
Well, let's get to some of your good stuff. So, did you attend any outside of the performing arts school? Did you attend any acting classes, or did you go further in your education into theater?
Absolutely. And I still train. I still get coached. But after high school, I did attempt college. But for me, liberal arts was not the way for me. And I took 1 year and went to the American Musical Dramatic Academy in New York. And that's a 2-year musical theater conservatory. And I stayed for a year. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just ready to start. For me, and I know everybody's different. This isn't saying anything about a college degree by any means, but for me, my goal was just to get better. I wasn't going to college to figure out what I want. I already knew what I wanted to do, and I was already doing it. True. So I was like, I just want to get better at what I'm doing. And as I would talk to elders and people who are in the industry, I understood that you never stop learning. So even if you get a college degree for 4 years, you still gonna stay in class. You still have to be working on your craft. You're still gonna go to a local studio and work. And I was like, well, and the thing about it was that whole plan B, have a plan B, but what if? I was like, no, I'm just going to start working. And so I just started pounding the pavement, as they say, in New York City, going to open calls, and then ended up moving back to Atlanta toward the later 90s, early 2000, because I wanted to join the union, and it was easier to join the Actors Union for theater, Actors Equity in Atlanta. It was just easier because I wanted to audition for bigger shows in New York. So it was just very strategic. But listen, I tell people all the time, I'm Jamaican and Bermudan. I worked 2 and 3 jobs I didn't believe in being broke. I would pay my bills. I would produce my own albums and concerts while doing auditions, like all the things. So for me, and I just never, and I was like, I need money for class. I need money to study. I need money for headshots. So I tell people proudly, I don't have a college degree, but when I tell you I am amazing at what I do, and I still study to this day. I study by watching other performances. If you sit down and watch a 2-hour film with Meryl Streep, that's a masterclass. If you can't take away from that, that's on you, right? And then you get to try it on. So it's just an ever evolving thing of learning and growing.
Yes, I'll always make the joke that if there's ever a film made upon my life, I want Meryl Streep to play me.
Come on, why not? She can transform into anything.
Yes, she is a beast. So how old were you when you decided to take that leap from Atlanta? Did you go to LA first or New York? when you decided to embark on this career?
Well, my big break that got me out of Atlanta the first time was in 2006 when I booked The Lion King,
Oh,
and I booked
wow.
the national tour of The Lion King. So I literally had a week's notice to quit my job and go.
Wow.
And I did Lion King for 5 years. I did both national tours, Las Vegas. I did Broadway in 2008. So I did that Lion King for a while. And then after that, when the Las Vegas company was closing at Mandalay Bay, I was like, I'm just 4 hours from there. Like, I think I could now or never. Like, how just go. I literally just drove in my Geo Prism to LA, found a room on Craigslist sight unseen with this nice Jewish lady named Debbie. We're still friends. Truly. And I went for it in 2011 because I was like, I'm ready to do the Hollywood thing. And I didn't know what I didn't know. So I wasn't quite prepared, because Hollywood and the world of TV and film is a different beast altogether than touring theater and Broadway. I didn't know that till I was in it. And so those years were very rocky roads and quiet and frustrating, being talented and not working. And so after that, I moved back to Atlanta after a couple of years and filed bankruptcy. If you follow me on Instagram, I have a video pinned to the top of my Instagram where I share my story very candidly. And I do so in my book as well, because I believe it helps people get out of shame and starting over.
Yes.
So I moved back to my mom's basement to reset my life.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And then you talk about studying, but I first studied myself. I went deep into personal development. I would go to YouTube, every book, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, anybody, Abraham, Michael Beckwith, anybody who could just help me build this mental muscle to deal with life, period. And that people say, what was the big thing that changed your career? I'm like, my mindset.
Yep.
And that's not the sexy work and the sexy answer people want. They want to know what ring light I use. Am I taking a special pill to book? Like, no, I changed my mind. I changed myself from the inside out. And I believe that when you change yourself, everything changes around you. Your world changes when your thoughts change. And so that's what happened. And so I just went deep. I went back to my day job. The day job I had when I quit for Lion King, I went back there because they loved me. And I was like, okay, I've got a plan.
Yep.
And I just studied. And then I ended up booking a couple of years later, I ended up booking a show, ABC pilot, as one of the leads. Show didn't get picked up, but that was the beginning of the unfolding of chapter 2 of LA. And then in 2017, I moved back to LA and sold everything from the house. If it couldn't get sold, got donated to a church. I had maybe like $6,000 saved up. That was enough for first glass and a refrigerator and a couch from the Goodwill and a prayer. Yeah. And truly, I remember my husband at the time, I remember telling him, like, you gotta take this gamble with me. Cause I was like, I'm going to LA. I don't know where you gonna be, but this is where I'm going. Are you coming? And it was the best decision I could have ever made. Because I bet on myself, because I knew I was meant for more. People say, you in Atlanta, because right now I'm bi-coastal. I live in Atlanta and LA. But at the time, people say, Atlanta's got so much work. I was like, it does. And I'm grateful for the work that I've gotten here. Those doors have opened many other doors for me. However, by the time a lot of the things come to Atlanta, especially at that time, it was the smaller roles. Yeah. And I was like, I'm a star and I want to be the star.
You better.
And so where do they cast the star? They cast the stars out of LA and New York. So I got to go. And I don't want the cold. So I'm going to LA. And that it's a gamble. But I was like, if you don't believe in you to the fullest, who will? And it was, again, the best decision I ever made. Like, I booked a gig my first month there. I booked American Crime Story with Ryan Murphy, about Gianni Versace. And people were like, who is this woman? I was like, I'm me. I just been getting ready.
That is amazing. Because I have a friend who is starting to get into acting, and it's always, I'm scared, I don't know. And I'm just like, you got to do it. You just have to do it. You won't ever know until you try. And it's funny because there's a lot of people with that mindset where they let fear or hesitation, control them to the point that they don't even attempt to try. And I've always had that mindset because my mom always drilled it in my head, where there's a will, there's a way. Like, you'll make it one way or another, if you just believe in yourself and be faithful to God and put in the work, he will meet you halfway. So to hear you, I know it's going to be so inspiring to so many people that are going to watch this video, because you have to speak positivity. And like in the Bible, it says, you know, you speak life and death in your tongue. And so you have to just believe in you and what it is that you want to do. So you're just
Absolutely.
encouraging to me.
And on that same note, you talk about speaking life. That's why I started calling myself the booking magnet. I trademarked it. Like I started studying law of attraction. I was like, wait, if I can attract people, experiences, money, things to my life, well, I can attract bookings. And I was like, well, if we're all magnets and we're attracting everything to our life, well, hell, I want to attract bookings. And so I just started calling myself that. And I believe in mantras and affirmations, you know? So I'm like, and every day I would just say, I'm a booking magnet. I am a booking magnet. I would yell it. I would write it. I got t-shirts that say it.
Yes.
And then I trained people how to speak that life unto me. So people would not even know my name on the street. They're like, are you the booking magnet? That's right. I sure am. So people often say, what came first, the bookings or you calling yourself the booking magnet? And I said, absolutely calling myself the booking magnet, because I had to step up to match the vibration of that which I was calling for. Yes. And that has changed my life totally. And now I speak that, of course, onto all the other students that I mentor, but that was huge. Who's gonna, and that's why personal development is personal. No one can do that work for you. And in my book, Playing Small, The Actor's Guide to Becoming a Booking Magnet, the first chunk of the book is broken up into 3 chunks. The first chunk is all about fears. So when you just talked about that, I dive into 7 major fears that a lot of people just have. And because I want to get that out the way first, because you think you want to do what you do, you think you want to do what I do, but then you got to get over the hurdle. What people gonna say? Oh, fear of judgment. Oh, look what she doing. Fear, that's fear of competition. Oh, what? I'm getting too old. Fear of time running out. Like, it's like you got to get over fear of success. So you don't realize you're sabotaging yourself. You're saying, but you won't. You're in contrast because you're so afraid of success. Well, what if I do this and what my family gonna say? Well, child, we got to work all that out first.
Yep.
Because that people come to me all the time for coaching. I'm like, and I can be like, do. That's the issue right there. You afraid of what so-and-so gonna say. Yeah. Until you get past that, you're not gonna get any further than that.
Wow. Thank you for that. Oh my God.
Get off my soapbox, because I get passionate about it. Because
no, because it's going to help so many people. You have no idea. Like people in my personal life. That's why it's touching me, so that when they see this, it's going to give them so much encouragement. So good. Thank you. Can you tell me how you prepare for a role?
Oh, sure. Great question. That's one of my most fun things to do. I'll have to do that as soon as we hang up, and then like go for this audition I have. First thing I like to do is, when I get a role, when the role is given to us, like whether it's an audition or even once you book it, they always use adjectives to describe the character. Warm, no nonsense, endearing, whatever it is. So I love to do a deep dive on Google. I know it's very like elementary it can sound, but I'm like, why are they saying she's quick-witted? What does that really mean? Why is she sultry? What does that mean? And I go deep. Then I like to connect my character to music. So like, for instance, for BMF and Snowfall, we're in the 80s. So I'm like, okay, what does this feel like? You know, what is this? What is the time? What does this era feel like in my bones? And so as I'm prepping, as I'm studying my lines, I let that music play low. I go to sleep playing that music so I can dream in that time. And then I get visuals for what this character walks like and feels like. I like to connect my characters to animals. So like, for BMF, I play Mabel, this very sultry character. And to me, she's a snake. Like, she just moves slow. She's got her target. You never know what she's going to do. And then she comes and gets you. So those are some of my most fun things, is the research and the creation of my characters. What is her hair like? What does she feel like? Because that starts in the audition. Yeah. You know, I'm bald and I have yet to book a role bald. Like, because if the role doesn't require that, then, because this is my choice, right? But every role doesn't require this. So that's why I like to dream about my roles. I like to just visualize. So everything starts in the mind. I have the last piece I'll share before we move on is I have a technique called the VAC, what I call VAC technique, VAK. So V stands for visual. So first, I'd like to get really clear on what the world that this person is in feels like. Then auditory is for the A, and that's what does this world sound like? Are there birds chirping? What city are they in? Do we hear cars honking? That affects how we move. And, people in Chicago when it's cold, they're rigid. In New York versus LA, people are chilling because the weather's nice, right? So that affects your body. And then K, kinesthetically, like what does it feel like in your body? How does this person breathe? How do they talk? Do they talk fast? Do they talk slow? And why is that? So all these little pieces get to be put into like my pot to create a character. And I start that in the audition process. So by the time that I book a role, a lot of times my students will see my auditions and then see the final product. And they'll be like, it feels like it's the same. And I was like, because I did all that work in the beginning. Like, and that's why I think people are attracted to me when they see my auditions, because they see that, oh, you brought a full layered character and person to this, not just surface. Because it's easy, like especially a character like Mabel, for people who watch BMF, you see her homewrecker, Mabel homewrecker, got it. So I'm like, okay, I know that's what you're going to see on the surface. So what's beneath that? We are all who we are for a reason. What have we been through? What is our pain? What are our wounds? Where are we operating from? Now, the audience still may not care about that, but it's important for me to know it and know where I'm operating from at all times.
Yeah. And everything that you just said is the same thing I literally have to do when I go into writing my characters for my books. And that's another thing that I have to tell, up and coming authors, you have to give your character a backstory, a life. How does she speak? How does she walk, talk? All of those things, be descriptive when you're writing a scene, because a lot of authors nowadays don't know anything about that, but that's a whole nother story for
that's a whole webinar.
Yes. So let's talk about BMF. So in season 2, you played Charles Flannery's mistress, Mabel Jones. Did you have any hesitation playing such a polarizing character?
That's the part that excited me. When I auditioned, I got a couple of scenes. So there was no way I would have known what was going to unfold from the audition scenes that were provided. However, when the offer came in, and my agent was like, hey, you got the role. And I was like, wait, hold on. I got some questions. Because the audition said that there was nudity required. And what's happening? Let's go. And so the production team, shout out to my, our executive producer and our showrunner, asked to take a meeting with me. And I was like, absolutely, let's talk about it. And so we talked about the arc of Mabel. And then I got excited because I was like, oh, this is going to be juicy, because how you going to start out as the friend of the wife? And then so that part intrigued me. And I knew that would be, and like I just said, I knew on the surface, all it would be like homewrecker. And I was like, this is juicy. And I think if anything made me nervous, it was my first time being nude.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you
on camera. So that, that was something very interesting. But I have to give a shout out to our intimacy coordinator, Zuri Pryor Graves, because she's amazing. She's worked on shows like P-Valley and a bunch of things. And the way we prepped, we would sit in this trailer fully clothed with our script, really dissecting every single line, everything. We would rehearse, okay, who's going to make the first move here? Okay, if you put your hand here, what does that mean? And so what it had us do, Russell Hornsby and I, every single moment was intentional. There was still room to breathe and play, but with a lot of structure. And I think that's the biggest thing, is feeling safe and know that you have structure. Things are not gratuitous just for the sake of it. Everything is negotiated, how much of the screen we're going to see, what we're going to see, when we're going to see it. So I felt very safe. And I got to give a shout out to the whole Stars Lionsgate team, because that was huge. But I will say, on a vulnerable tip with I've been sharing in a lot of interviews, because I feel like it's necessary for women, especially Black women. A lot of us deal with fibroids, and I had a fibroid surgery scheduled for later that year. So at the time of filming, I'm in the middle of having some really huge fibroids. So as much as I dieted and worked out, I'm like, I can only suck in so much, like, God. So all the self-conscious things start coming up, and I just had to get in the space that Mabel would not be self-conscious. Mabel is seducing this man. Mabel is here to do, and that man's not going to turn her away, some of these comments, oh, Mabel got long titties, or she got this, and all.
Oh my God.
Oh, trust me, they have come for me. And I'm like, look, I'm a natural woman.
Exactly.
But it is. And I just stood boldly in my beauty and my natural body and gravity. Okay. And what
Yes.
I do know is I've never been turned away from anybody's bed. And I sure wasn't turned away from Charles's bed.
You
And
better speak.
I felt like I did justice to it. So
You did.
it was it was a trip though. The first time, okay, we're about to okay, here we go. But
Yeah, I know that.
I just had to own it, you know, be like,
Yes.
and just stand in God, I'm so beautiful. And talking about speaking life, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're perfect as you are,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yes.
know.
But Mabel slash you got body, girl.
And I appreciate that. It's so funny. People, you know, the internet, you got keyboard trolls and keyboard
Child, tell me
abusive.
about it. Tell
So
me about it. But going back to the sex scene, because a lot of the audience that is not in the industry don't know how that even goes about, because they just think that you just get down and you just do it. But no,
right.
everything is structured, and you know, you basically it's like a dance that you
Choreography.
all, yeah.
It is absolutely choreography. Yes.
So what I wanted to ask though, since this was your first nude scene, was that something that you knew that you'd do in your career? Because you know, there's a lot of actors that say, no, I will never do nudity.
Right.
Or was it something that you said, if it was for the right role and the right purpose, then yeah, I would do it? And then could you tell the audience how it is to do that in front of a crew, like, because it is your body and this person and you're in such a intimate and vulnerable space? So could you elaborate?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely the latter of what you said. I definitely was never like, I've never been a person. I'm like, I will never do it. For me, it's
Mm-hmm.
always been, what's the context? What story are we telling? You can easily tell when something's gratuitous or not. I've
Yeah.
auditioned for many things where it said possible nudity or implied sexual scenes. I have, and maybe just didn't book it. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I've been out on camera before, but not, you know, or like it's been like post sex, like the
Right.
like, oh, and now we come up
Yeah.
the that kind of thing. It's good old TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, again, that's why I took the meeting with the production team and the execs to see where we were with it. Because, you know, even on some of the other shows like Power, I remember I met Lorenz Tate a few weeks ago at the Essence Black Women in Hollywood luncheon. I was like, Lorenz, I was like, I'm out here, my breast is out. Like, how do you deal with it? He was like, just embrace it. Just embrace it.
Yes.
That was his advice. Just embrace it. And I just have. So, you know, again, so the answer to question number one, and even beyond today, just because I did it once doesn't mean I'll do it again. It will
Right.
definitely be about what is the story we're telling and how, you know, how does it move the story along? And is it true? It's like, you know, I shot something recently where I'm in a bathtub crying. It wasn't like a sexy bubble bath. No, I'm just taking a bath. This character's breaking down. I had to be nude. Like, you don't see it, but
Right.
I had to appear nude. Let me say that.
Correct.
So sometimes it's just necessary for the story.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as preparation, like I mentioned, we had an amazing, nowadays we have intimacy coordinators that take so much of the awkwardness out of it. And let me just say for the ladies watching, the men are just as scared.
Nervous. Yes.
You know, Russell Hornsby didn't eat either. Both of us, the day of shooting that, the scene where he was supposed to, did we do all those in the same? Yes, we did them all on the same day. So we were shooting till like 2, 3 in the morning that day.
Wow.
Both of those scenes. So the second scene where he comes to break it off with me, it looks like during the daytime. It was at least 2 in the morning. They had a bunch of
Wow.
lights outside. So no, because they wanted, again, structuring and scheduling. They were like, let's not have y'all come up and having to do this every time. Let's just
Yeah.
all this out on one day, which again, I appreciate them
Yes.
setting up that way. Because they know. But yeah, both of us was hungry that day. We wasn't eating. Everybody's trying to keep it together. And that was really helpful for me to feel too, because I was like, because I think women, we just think, oh, our bodies. Men feel the same way. That's a
Yeah.
married man. He got a wife
Yeah.
at home, kids.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's important to know too. But with intimacy coordinators, every single thing is talked about, just so the audience knows. I know it's supposed to look real, like, but if we were really having sex, that'd be porn.
Yeah.
And that's what we are not doing. Okay. So I have to tell, especially guys, are like, no, they did it for real. No, that's porn.
Now, in the show, because Charles came off like a 2 pump chump.
I know. Everybody's like, they could have went. I was like, It's an hour TV show. Like I was like, how long did they want him to go? At least the second scene was longer.
Yeah.
You know.
So I was like, why baby keep sleeping with this man?
For the, you know, but I believe too, even with that, as we would see those comments, it's the challenge, it's the hunt. You know, I've gotten asked in a lot of interviews during this time, you know, what was her intention and for me, it's the thrill of the chase, the thrill of the hunt. Seeing if I can. And then once it's checked off, then it's checked off. And then later in the season, when the quarters ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing and the bed's not doing, like then it's like, okay, well, what am I really doing? Here I go again. Like for me, my inner work was here I go again, Mabel. Here you go, girl. Sabotaging your platonic friendships and your romantic ones. Like again, like you going, this is the cycle that just keeps happening. So yeah, I mean, I felt bad. I was like, when I would see the comments, I was so worried about people coming for me harder, and they did in their own way. But the comments, oof. But Russell, he don't engage in none of that. He ignores.
Oh no, people be crazy when it comes to their favorite shows, child. They argue with you like it is real, and I'm like, you do realize it's scripted. But what was I going to ask you? Oh, did you feel like with your preparation with the character, since Mabel's her ex-husband had cheated on her, do you think that her character was going after Charles because she saw that he had such a loving home life with Lucille, and that's something that she wanted to regain for herself, something that she felt like she'd been cheated out of?
Absolutely. I definitely think that was part of it. I mean, it's just this thing of like, I like that. I want that. And instead of going to get it from somewhere else, waiting and maybe hoping it comes her way organically, she just decided to take what she wanted because she knew she could. I think what Mabel saw was an opportunity. Charles was going to cheat with somebody.
Yeah.
Whether it's the lady at the church, and I know in the beginning of the season, people were confused. They thought Mabel was also in the band, and I'm like, no, it was a different woman.
Yeah.
I saw the fans were confused a little bit about that at first, but I think he was in that space. His light was on, like he was looking like,
yeah,
it was going to happen. And I think Mabel saw that and took full advantage of that.
Do you think that her character got off too easy? If you were Lucia, would you have hit upside the head with that skillet?
Everybody want her to get hit. I truly, I shared on my Instagram, and it's still up there. I shared a picture of me on that day with my stunt double to give the fans a little extra tea. I was like, there was a stunt double that day. There was a rubber skillet that day, but things got changed around at the last minute, and we did not do that.
Also, it was intended for her to catch a...
There was a version of the script where Lucille was going to have a thought of what she wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
We would maybe have seen that thought play out and then come back to reality.
Yeah, okay.
But if we really think about Lucille's character, like that's
not her.
No. And I believe the production and everyone, the creative team, though it would have been fun and they know that's what the audience would want, the reality is that's not who she is. And I think, that was really Nicole. That was one of our favorite scenes, and we've hung out since then several times, and that's one of our favorite moments because we didn't rehearse that scene.
Wow. Okay.
We didn't know what was going to happen. That was the last scene of the night. It was my last scene of the season, last scene of the night. So again, it's like 1 a.m. And all we did was come downstairs to the dining room, just read through the lines seated, and then we started rolling. And so neither one of us had an idea what the other would do. And it made it really organic and true. And I think for Mabel, the Mabel-Lucille relationship, just someone looking in your eyes and telling you like how disappointed they are in you and feeling their disgust and disdain for you is more powerful than you just hitting me with a frying pan. Because that's what gives you nightmares. That's the thing you never forget.
Do you think that she ever really was a friend or cared for Lucille?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And
believe I of course we meet her in episode 1 at the dinner table, kikiing and having fun. I don't think before that dinner table moment that she even plotting to, this is my new neighbor, she got her husband, I'm gonna work my way in as a friend. I don't believe it was that. I believe she started as a friend and then just got comfortable. There's a lot of us women out here got a friend who gets way too comfortable all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then so some of us cash in and some of us don't till it's too late. And so that's what I think. It's just kind of, she just started all these coming to fix this, coming to fix that, and she just started looking a little too hard. Mix that with him being open. He really was, and energy doesn't lie. So
And
what may even start out as harmless flirting, there's enough opportunity, things can happen.
Yeah. And do you think Mabel will make any return next season, or you don't know? Oh, she's done?
She had a lovely run.
Oh, I want to see Mabel come back.
See, that's what I said on my last episode. I was like, y'all gonna miss Messy Mabel. Y'all gonna miss her.
She might be back. You never know. And where do you all film BMF?
BMF films in Detroit and in Atlanta.
Okay, so do they actually film in Meech's mom's house, or they just do exterior scenes out there?
Correct.
Okay.
Our studio base is here in Atlanta.
Okay, that's dope. Okay, so let's get to Snowfall. Okay, so I am a huge Snowfall fan, and this upcoming week is the series finale episode. But you got the opportunity to play alongside Damson Idris as the tough bounty hunter Black Diamond. How did that role come about? And did you try out for any other roles on that show?
Yes, I was always a fan of Snowfall. And fun fact, I auditioned for Snowfall every season since it began.
Wow.
Including season 4 when I joined. I read for several other roles right before Black Diamond came up. Because TV, a lot of people don't know, they write episode by episode. So at least for, unless it's a streaming service, for the most part, so they don't always know what characters are coming up. So that's another example of rejection for years and years, thinking like,
yeah.
And then, when I got cast in that role and I emailed the casting director to thank her, her response was right role, right time. And I'm so grateful for that. So it was truly, out of all the roles, Black Diamond has been the most fun. And another fun fact is I originally read for Dallas, and the young lady, Taylor Polidor, my cohort, actually auditioned for Black Diamond at first.
Oh,
so
wow.
When I got down to the final choices, they really liked us together and thought it would be fun. And then they had us swap, retape, and then we both booked it. But it was great. So we premiered on episode 7 of season 4.
That was, oh, wow. So you don't really get to see many African-American women like Black Diamond and Dallas, who are these ruthless, street savvy women portrayed on television. How was it playing such like a badass chick?
So much fun. So much so that sometimes me and Taylor would be shooting guns, and our stunt coordinator would be like, ladies, stop smiling. Because we'd be like, this is fun. Like, stop smiling. Our first day at work, because we shoot out of order, our first day at work was in season 4 when we shot up the funeral where Louis got shot. Aunt Louis got shot. That was our first day. It was a hectic first day. But it is that. And also, shout out to Janine Daniels, who introduced the characters based off women she actually knew, who's from California. So she gave us some, deeper insight into these women and what they represented. And what was important for us was, especially because you didn't get to see a ton of us in the beginning, because we were new. So we were a little bit of comic relief, it was like, what's happening? We brought a little fanfare to it in the strip club. And what was important to us and the team was that they weren't like caricatures.
Yeah.
They were grounded. And that's why I was happy about when we got to season 5 and we get to see them with their kids and taking them to school and really understanding that these women, they are just about taking care of their kids and their life. Like, and it's not personal. Like, I don't care if it's a strip club or working for Franklin. We would have worked for Johnny down the street if he had the right amount of money, because we're here to take care of ours, which is why when we get to this final season and my, sad demise, even Dallas is like, we had a pact, whoever, we just promised to take care of each other's kids. So it's been a beautiful journey, and just being a part of John Singleton's legacy is really a dream come true. I didn't get to meet him. He had already passed on by the time I got to the show, but his energy was there. His light was there through other people and what he laid within them.
I was going to ask you, do you feel like Black Diamond's character's motivation to go so hard in the streets was for her son, or was it just something that was just innately in her, just being attracted to that lifestyle?
I think she was just a driven person, but her kid and her livelihood was everything. In a world, again, when these characters were created, we talked about them having met at nursing school, and they started stripping because stripping paid more than nursing. And then from there, it's like, what will get us to the next? How do we get up out of here? How do we do better for our lives? We want to be fabulous women. Like, as far as I'm concerned, like, they were just boss women who wanted to live in their own terms, have enough money, buy the things that they liked, drive the cars that they liked. We're talking an era of drug dealers and all that going on. Like, they wanted a piece of that too. But I don't think they was like, for me, there was not a desire like to be on top. No, I just want some good, steady income, and what I got to do, where I got to go to get it.
Okay. So when you got the script and saw that Black Diamond would meet her demise this last and final season, what was your reaction when you read it the first time?
Yeah, well, gratefully, our showrunner, Dave Andron, whenever anyone's about to die, you get a call from Dave. So okay. Dave calls you, and I'm like, oh, hey, Dave. Hey, Dave. What's up? Just so you know. But he was like, it's going to be a good episode. Like, before he said, it's going to be a very memorable episode. And I was like, okay. And it was hard. Reading it was one thing, filming it was something totally different. It was quite intense. Filming it. Again, a situation where I had a stunt double who didn't get used. Who didn't get used.
Oh, wow. So that was all you.
Yeah. But there's I thought it ended up it looked very real. It looked very, when we went to the premiere in LA and saw it, it was hard to watch. Just once you have added sound effects and blood splattering and, the intensity, even, shout out to, Eamon Joseph, who is such an amazing actor, his uncle Jerome. Even his wife, after watching the premiere, she's like, oh, that's just not him. It's just that is hard to watch, and he was so caring during it, but so committed. And it was sad. Taylor, who plays Dallas at the premiere, was very sad, because it was like, not only is it the end of this show, and anytime you're on a show for more than a season and you're part of the family, it's just sad for the show to be saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And for, we had this nice bond, and of course we have it off screen, but it's just it's bittersweet. It's really beautiful. And I think that's something that I try to talk about on my podcast for other actors. I don't think enough people talk about the grieving period after a show or a project ends. We just move on to the next thing. Everybody says goodbye. Oh, so good working with you. Pictures, gone.
Yep.
The thing that was your every day or your every week, gone. Relationships, gone. You might see those people again at a red carpet or a party, and that impacts you more than you know. When you connect to a character and connect to each other, because you need to, so that the audience feels the connection and the rapport. Actors go into a deep part of themselves spiritually, I believe, that helps us to connect to each other in the ways that we need to quickly.
Yeah.
It's immediately gone. And so how do you care for that? And so that's why I'm a really big advocate for mental health, actors getting counseling, therapy, acknowledging, hey man, I'm sad that that's over. Man, I miss that. I miss that character. I miss how that character made me feel, or, that transformation. And so, I'm grateful to hop from one job to the next, but I do I have my own personal rituals that I do to release characters and to thank them for being in me. For me, again, acting is very spiritual. So when I step into someone else, whether they're, a fictitious character or not, I own the fact that I was giving life to something. And
Yeah.
now
Wow. So how did you feel about the way Black Diamond went out? Would you have wanted it done any other way, or were you satisfied with how it ended?
yeah, I thought it fit where Uncle Jerome was. We knew in season 4, after we shot up that funeral, we knew our days were numbered. And I think, we had some intel in the writer's room. Like, they were always fighting for us to stay alive, because at any given second, there was any excuse for Uncle Jerome or anybody to take us out. So the fact that we made it that far, I'm just grateful. I'm just
Yeah.
grateful. And I think it just fit where he was mentally before he passed on
Yeah.
in the show.
What was it like working with Damson?
Awesome. Consummate professional. He the kind of actor who's fully committed. He's a Virgo, so he's always very meticulous with the work, and doesn't break character, doesn't break once he goes into his accent, he doesn't break it until he's getting in his car to go home.
Wow.
So just very focused, very committed, really helpful, especially coming into a show that's been established 4 seasons in when we joined, giving us any tips, any tonal notes, any things like that, without being overbearing, but just like, when you're a star of the show, you want it to be great. And so anyone that comes on, especially you're working alongside them, like, I'm always open and available for anything and for
Yeah.
advice to make, because we all want the same end goal for the show to be
Yeah.
great. So it was
Yeah.
really awesome. He's so talented.
He is. So was it fun getting to play Mabel and Black Diamond? Both characters were based in the 80s. What was it like being able to go back to that time and that era and dressing up and everything?
It's so fun. I love the clothes, the shoulder pads. Some of these things, I'd be like, gosh, y'all used to, I would tell my mom, like, you used to wear this? I was a kid, so
Yeah.
it was fun. I think it's just fun. I love playing dress up. So it's always fun, no matter what the era, truly.
Cool. So it was recently announced via Deadline that you are slated to star in a newly titled Amazon Freebie series titled Classified. Tell us all about it and congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so excited. It's a new show that I shot in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Oh, wow.
And it's about, it was great. 3 months. I had never been, and I was planning to go last year anyway. And God said, well, let me show out and show you what I can do.
Exactly.
So it was amazing. Basically, the show is about a young girl named Ella who gets in a bit of trouble in Oakland, California, and gets sent to live with her dad and stepmom. And that's me. I play Diane. And I basically work for the CIA there. I'm the CIA station chief. And what ensues, and so we get to see Johannesburg through the eyes of Ella, so fans of Blood and Water and shows like that will really love it, because you get so much authenticity there. But what ends up happening is I end up using Ella for some of my work. So there's some spy stuff going on, there's some action, there's a whole lot of fun stuff without giving too much away, but it just causes a lot of drama in her life and in my life. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited for people to see it. So yeah, here in the States, it'll be on Amazon Freebie, and then in Africa, it'll be on Netflix Africa.
Wow.
And so I'm hearing it may come out in 2024.
Okay, I was just gonna ask you, do you know?
Okay. Yeah, we only wrapped, we finished wrapping end of February. So they're still in post. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What was it like filming in Johannesburg?
It was wonderful because we filmed all over. And not just, that's where I was staying in Johannesburg. We filmed kind of, it was great. That's all I can say. There'd be days where, we were filming in palatial estates, because that's where my character's house was, at this huge, humongous estate, not even a house. And then there'd be days where we'd be somewhere out in safari and there'd be a zebra 2 feet from me. Like, wow. And I'd be like, what is my life right now? This is amazing.
Wow.
So it was, and the people are beautiful and magical, and everyone again wants to do just a good job. And our cinematographer, our directors, I'm really excited about it. And interestingly enough, our DP, when we first met, he showed me some of his visual inspiration for the lighting and the tone, and it was a picture from Snowfall. I
Oh,
was like, okay, I see where you're going with that. So
wow, that
I'm
is
excited to see it.
wonderful. Oh my God. I only have a few more questions for you. Um, what role are you just itching to play? And is there any specific actor you would like to act alongside, or a director that you would love to work with?
Yeah, I think what's next for me, what I would love to manifest is something like a psychological thriller with some sci-fi
Mm,
elements would be really, really wonderful. As far as actors, there's just so many, there's too many
to name, yeah.
to name. I just love working with people, good actors. I just love working with good people.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I'm just open and available to it all. But as far as genres, for me, that's something I have not crossed off my list yet. So I'm looking forward to that.
I would love I don't every time I'm this whole interview, I just keep on seeing Dora Milaje for you. I don't know because of the hair. I think you would be perfect for it. Just putting it out there. What would be your advice to any hopefuls who plan to leave their hometown in search of success and fame in Hollywood or just in the industry, period?
Um, Save money. Save money. I'm really serious because, sometimes people move to Hollywood like, I'm here, I quit my job. No, hey, slow down. Like, because everything costs money. And what I don't want you to do, it's hard to be the light when you're worried about your light bill, right? It's hard to
Ooh, that was
create it,
good. Yeah.
right? So really save money and plan, be strategic. You don't have to dive all the way in, but even before I moved, I did some research. The second time I did research. I researched where I was going to live, how much does it cost, what's the rent, like all these different things, because you don't want to be put in a position where you have to do something now that you dread or that goes against your morals or whatever because you're desperate. Also, when you walk in a room where you're doing an audition and you are breeding desperation, like if I don't book this job, I don't eat, that's not attractive.
Yeah.
It's just oozing off of you. So I think I know what attracts me to people when I walk in a room or I even come to an interview or do an audition is that people feel my confidence. They feel because I'm connected to me. I know who I am, whose I am. I know what I have to offer. I'm confident in that. But I wasn't always that way. And I know, again, that personal development. So I would say save money and work on yourself, work on your mindset so that you can be resilient through it all.
Yeah, that is wonderful. I love that line about the light. That is
Yeah.
so true. Tell us, how did you transition into becoming a career and life coach to actors with your virtual academy Hollywood bound actors? And tell us about the program.
Yeah, well, that happened when I moved back to LA in 2017. I just started blogging. Facebook Live was kind of still new, and I just was like, I don't know, I like to gamify my life. I was like, let me see if I can go live for 30 days. I don't know. It was my mama watching and my cousin. Like nobody was watching. And I would just be like, hey, I'm just leaving the Warner Brothers, or this audition went really good today, or I didn't book that job. I'd be crying on YouTube. Like if you go to my YouTube channel, there's over 300 something videos. I never took them down. They're there to help actors. And I just started showing up and I was very transparent. I would give tips. And then people started raising their hand, asking questions, liking the videos. And then I saw the same people were watching, and this just kind of started spreading to the point where we needed a place to meet. And so then I created a Facebook group. So the online show, which is that I still do, is called Actors Daily Bread. I was like, how can I just feed the people? And my husband at the time was like, he's like, what about Actors Daily Bread? And I was like, oh, I like that. And so Actors Daily Bread became the show, and our community became Hollywood Bound Actors, because I believe being Hollywood bound is a state of mind. It's not about your location, but it is about understanding what Hollywood expects and operating from that standard. And so from there, then of course, people were like, well, do you coach? I see you're booking. Can you help me? So I started with audition coaching people here and there. But then I found that the people who got the most from my work were the people who worked with me longer. So then I started creating different programs and offerings. It turned out, fast forward, to me creating a course called Book More TV, because I have clearly figured out what works for me in booking television.
Yeah.
because it became a game for me. And so I just took every single thing that I know about TV, truly, and put it in this course. Because I got tired of people asking me the same questions. Can I pick your brain? No, but you can pick up this invoice and pay for this class.
Boom.
And you
Mhm.
can learn everything. I'm straight no chaser. I'm not holding anything back. There's no level 1, 2, 3, and 4. No, I give it all to you once. My students have lifetime access. I still, to this day, even no matter if I'm in Africa or in Atlanta, I show up once a month to a live Q&A, and the students can ask any question that they have. So that's my way to give back, because I don't have to give back as freely as I do. But I'm like, hey, it's here. Now, those who pay attention. So if you really want the information, I'm helping to save you years of the trial and error I've been through. You can take it or you cannot take it. I'm not here to force you to do anything. So that's something that's changed the game. At this point, I've coached easily over 600 students in that course.
Wow.
And it's changed so many careers, not just mine. And so in addition to that, of course, I have my conference. I do an actors conference every year called Booking Magnet Live. Our next one is July 21st and 22nd here in Atlanta at the Marriott at Emory. And that's 2 full days with me. I invite other coach friends, my casting directors, agents. And it's like a 2-day safe haven incubator for actors 18 and up. I don't care if you're beginner or advanced. And it's just a place to be celebrated and seen and learn and not be stuffy and like, you don't got to put on airs. We're here to just be vulnerable and share and learn. And so again, I created a conference that I wanted, because even though I'm a coach and I've done all these things, I'm still an actor and I still need to be poured into. And so I'm like, well, bump that. I'm just going to create the space that I want. I'm going to curate what's in my mind and bring it to life.
Wow. Can you tell us, for any upcoming actors, about getting in the union, and like, what does that whole process look like? Like getting a SAG card or whatever.
Well, that definitely takes time, because you have to book something. You have to book a union project that gets you the credits, basically. That's not the right word, credit, but I'm just going to use that as lack of a better word.
Okay.
That gives you the opportunity to join. Like for me, I got the opportunity. I did a Mazda commercial in Atlanta in 2002. And because it was a union, even though because the Southeast is the right to work states. So you don't have to be in the union to audition for union things. It's different in New York and LA. So because of that, I was eligible to join SAG-AFTRA, which is our theater, film and TV union. And then when I had the money, then I actually joined. But it just takes you doing a certain amount of things. For some people, it's doing background work. They do a certain amount of union, like feature films or TV shows that are that are union, and those vouchers get them eventually to join the union. And I think the best way to get the most current, up to date, because I know people may watch this 5 years from now,
Right.
is to just call your local SAG-AFTRA office and ask what the current requirements are. And I'm sure at that time there'll be a page that can break it down for you.
Thank you for that information. Thank you so much. So outside of Classified, do you have any other upcoming projects that we should know about?
Well, the most current thing that I am aware of is a new movie called Fool's Paradise. It comes to theaters May 12th. It's Charlie Day, for those of you who are fans of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That was on for years on FX. This is Charlie Day's feature film directorial debut, and it's a comedy. I mean, heavy, star-studded. Ray Liotta, Adrian Brody, Kate Beckinsale. Like, it is ridiculous. The trailer just dropped yesterday, and I'm in the trailer. The trailer starts with me in it, which is pretty fun to see.
Wow.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's called Fool's Paradise.
Wow. Okay. Well, you guys make sure you check that out. I surely will. Can you let everybody know where they can reach you on social media?
Absolutely. I think the easiest way is on Instagram and TikTok at actress Christine Horn. That's HORN. And for any aspiring actors or current actors who want to up level, I would encourage you to join my Hollywood Bound Actors community. And you can find us on anywhere you listen to podcasts, Hollywood Bound Actors. We have a Facebook group and a podcast and an Instagram page with the same name. So just put Hollywood Bound Actors, you're going to find us. In the Facebook group, I do pop-up lives in there, again, the podcast. And it really is to encourage you, to give you tips, and to just, I've heard people say, I just play it every day as I go to work. And I play it when I come home, just for encouragement. And so if that's what you need, I encourage you to listen.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Christine. This interview was just
It's
beyond
good.
my expectations. I had so much fun doing this. You are a
Me
pleasure
too.
and a delight and so beautiful and humble. And I just wish you nothing but the best in all of your endeavors. And I just can't wait to see how far your career goes. And I can't wait to see you accepting that Oscar and Golden Globe and
Come on.
SAGs
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
Peoples and Emmy, all of those award shows. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I would love to interview you again if you have any other projects that you want to discuss. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much, and congratulations and much success to you. I know you have a lot of
Thank
things
you.
soaking in the fire, so blessings on those as well.
Thank you so much. This interview will be up on my channel Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time.
Okay, awesome. I'm sure Trey will send me all the things.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
Have a good day and good luck on that audition.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.